CNN senior international correspondent Will Ripley is following this developing story for you from Taipei. Will, what more have you learned?
Layla, that death toll is almost certain to rise in the coming hours simply because of the condition that people were in when they were arriving at hospitals. You can see from the video, and of course that video was shot from a distance, so you can only imagine, as bad as it looks from afar, how horrifying it must have been to be in the middle of all of that. After this match, which was a very spirited match between two rival teams, fans started fighting, and that does happen sometimes. Police need to be prepared to break up violence that can occur after a highly contested football match. But in this case, there are real questions, serious questions about the police response and why they needed to fire tear gas at these crowds, these unarmed crowds. Tear gas that caused people to panic, essentially. They tried to run for the exit. A single exit gate is where hundreds of people were trying to push towards all at once to avoid that tear gas. Some people reportedly died instantly, several dozen at least, who suffocated or were trampled. But there were other people with horrific injuries who were piled into cars and ambulances, and they were rushed to area hospitals, and many of them died on the way. Others died at the hospital shortly after arriving. Some are still being treated at this hour and are reported to be in very grave condition. You have 180 people or so injured, but again, some of those folks sadly not expected to survive. Within the last couple of hours, the Indonesian president, Joko Widodo, called for and I'm quoting here, a thorough investigation of the implementation of football matches and also the security procedures. President Widodo vowing not to let another human tragedy like this happen in the future. There are also questions about how many people were packed into that stadium in Malang city in East Java, Indonesia. If you look it up online, it says the capacity of the stadium is more than 42,000. But the Indonesian chief security minister posted on Instagram that while 42,000 tickets were issued, that stadium was only meant to hold about 38,000 people. So could it have been overcrowded? Combined with the violence, combined with questions about the police and the way they responded, it all added up to what you're seeing here, a true disaster. In fact, the second deadliest stadium disaster since football matches started being held in large stadiums. The deadliest was back in Peru almost 60 years ago, Layla. 129 people at least. Imagine all of those families whose loved ones went to go watch this sporting event and didn't come home.